Hello and welcome back to the Deep Dive.
Hey there.
This is where we, take all this information, we gather articles, reports, our notes, and try to boil it down for you.
Find those key insights, yeah.
Exactly. And today we're diving into maybe a market you haven't thought much about, the global collagen peptide and gelatin market.
Right. It sounds maybe a bit niche, but the scale is actually pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's kind of quietly booming.
Yeah.
So our mission really is to pull out the main numbers, the biggest trends from the latest market forecasts.
Give you a clear picture of what's going on.
Yep, a concise understanding.
And this deep dive, I think it's going to reveal some, significant growth, really expansive. It helps to understand what these are, too, for context.
Good point.
So collagen peptides, gelatin, they basically come from collagen, that natural protein.
Okay.
And you find them everywhere now. Dietary supplements, skin health, joint health, but also functional foods, drinks, even cosmetics and pharmaceuticals.
Right, so pretty wide applications.
Exactly. And that helps explain the market's reach,
Okay, let's unpack the global picture then, because the numbers are pretty striking.
They really are.
Cognitive market research puts the market at over, $3.1 billion back in 2021?
Solid base.
But it's the growth trajectory. It's expected to hit over $3.7 billion by 2025.
Okay.
And then climb all the way up to $5.3 billion projected by 2033.
Wow. That's quite a jump over the next decade or so.
It is. And that works out to a compound annual growth rate, the CAGR, of 4.372%. Consistent growth.
And that consistency, I think, is key. It's not just a blip.
Right.
It suggests, a really robust, growing demand globally. These ingredients aren't just niche anymore.
They're going mainstream.
Seems like it, across lots of different consumer products.
Okay, so if that's the big picture, where's the action concentrated? This is where it gets really interesting, looking at the regions.
Absolutely. And Asia-Pacific, or APAC, is really the standout leader here.
Leading the charge.
Definitely. Started over $1.1 billion in 2021. Projected to reach almost $2 billion by 2033. That's nearly doubling.
Huge growth.
And it gives APAC the highest regional CAGR we're seeing, 5.038%.
Over 5%.
Yeah. And it's driven by, several things. Rising health consciousness, more disposable income, and just this boom in, nutraceuticals and that whole beauty from within trend in those economies.
Makes sense. And within APAC, any specific countries jumping out?
Oh, for sure. China's still a huge player, right? Expected to hit over $500 million by 2033. Strong CGR there, too, about 5.25%.
Okay, dominant.
But India's growth is really remarkable.
Yeah.
It's projected to almost double its market size, reaching nearly $300 million by 2033, and its CAGR, the highest single country rate we see, 5.9%.
Wow, almost 6%.
Exactly. Then you've got Japan, also significant, heading over $300 million. And places like Singapore and Southeast Asia generally also showing really strong CGRs, both well over 5%.
So APAC is definitely the hotspot.
One question.
All right, so from that rapid growth, let's look across to North America. Still a major player, right?
Absolutely. A very significant market. It was already close to $1 billion back in 2021.
Right, $984 million.
And that's projected to grow to over $1.5 billion by 2033. The CAGR there is 3.823%. Solid, but, a bit steadier.
It's slower than APAC, yeah. More mature, maybe.
Exactly. Within North America, the U.S. is, unsurprisingly, the giant.
I figured.
Over $850 million in 2021, heading towards $1.3 billion by 2033. Again, strong, sustained demand, but maybe not that explosive emerging growth we see in parts of Asia.
Gotcha. But it's not just the U.S., right?
No, definitely not. Canada is showing pretty notable growth, too, projected to reach over $120 million.
Okay.
And its CAGR is actually quite strong, 4.888%.
Oh, interesting. Higher than the U.S. average.
It is. And Mexico is also expanding nicely, projected over $100 million with a CAGR around 4%.
Okay, so a strong region overall.
Definitely.
Now, what about Europe? Another established market, I assume.
Yes, very much so. Europe started at over $650 million in 2021.
Okay.
And it's expected to cross that $1 billion mark by 2033. The CAGR is 3.908%. So again, steady, consistent expansion.
Yeah.
Reflects, well-established consumer patterns there.
And within Europe, any highlights? Germany, UK, France.
Yeah, Germany is looking quite strong. Projected to hit over $250 million by 2033 with a 4.5% CAGR.
Very healthy.
Very. The UK isn't far behind, expected to reach over $176 million. CAGR around 4.2%. Yeah. But, there are nuances in Europe. It's not uniform.
No more.
Well, look at Russia, for instance. It's growing much slower, projected to reach just over $32 million by 2033.
Right.
And its CAGR is the lowest we see in the region, only 1.839%.
Huh. Any idea why? Specific conditions.
It suggests local economic factors, maybe different consumer priorities are playing a bigger role there, slowing things down compared to, say, Germany or the UK.
Interesting contrast.
Yeah. And elsewhere in Europe, Italy, Spain, Sweden, Denmark, Switzerland, even Luxembourg, you generally see solid growth, mostly KGRs between 3 and 4.5%. Consistent.
Okay, paints a clear picture.
Yeah.
Now, shifting South America, is there momentum there?
There definitely is. It's a smaller market overall compared to the big three, but growing quite nicely.
Okay.
Started around $216 million in 2021, projected to reach over $370 million by 2033.
And the CGR.
Pretty robust, actually, 4.639%. So faster than North America or Europe on average.
Interesting. Any specific countries driving that?
Yeah, definitely seeing strong individual country performance. Argentina, for example, is projected to hit over $78 million, and its CGR is notably high at 5.112%.
Wow, over 5% again.
And Chile, too, expected to reach over $45 million with a KGR around 4.8%.
Okay.
And Brazil, of course, is a major contributor, expected to reach almost $140 million by 2033 with a TGR around 4.5%. So, yeah, demand seems strong across the continent.
Good to know. Okay, finally, let's look at the emerging markets. Middle East and Africa. Middle East first. What are we seeing there?
Growing steadily. It was over $130 million in 2021, and it's projected to get near $230 million by 2033. That's a KGR of 4.592%.
Pretty solid. Any hotspots?
Yeah.
UAE, Saudi?
Exactly. The UAE shows significant growth, actually, 5.172% CAGR, heading to about $45 million.
Nice.
Saudi Arabia, also strong, 4.67% CAGR, reaching over $65 million. And Turkey, too, around 4.9% CAGR, projected at $46 million. So definitely burgeoning demand there.
Okay, and Africa. Smaller base, I imagine.
Yeah, starts from a smaller base, just over $95 million in 2021.
Right.
But it's projected to grow to over $160 million by 2033. The CAGR is 3.896%, so similar pace to North America overall.
Okay. Key countries there, South Africa,
Right.
Nigeria.
Those are the main ones, yeah. South Africa is driving a lot of it, projected to reach over $73 million with a 4.4% CAGR. And Nigeria is expected to reach nearly $29 million, growing at about 4.1% CAGR. So it indicates these products are getting adopted more as those economies develop.
Right, makes sense.
It's that increasing adoption curve.
Okay, wow. That's a lot of numbers, a lot of regions. So
Yeah.
let's try and connect the dots.
Yeah, step back a bit.
What does this all mean? When you put all these regional pieces together, what's the big takeaway from all this data about the global collagen and gelatin market?
Well, I think what's really fascinating is the difference in the growth rates.
The variation, yeah.
Exactly. You've got this steady overall global growth, sure, but then you see Asia Pacific just surging ahead.
Led by countries like India with that nearly 6% CAGR.
Right. That really stands out. It points to this, dynamic shift towards emerging economies.
They're driven by.
Probably that rising health awareness we talked about, growing middle class, easier access to these kinds of consumer health products.
Right.
And you contrast that with the more, let's say, mature markets like North America and Europe. They're still growing consistently.
But slower. More established demand.
Precisely. And then you have the outliers, like Russia we mentioned, where growth is much slower, probably due to specific local conditions.
So it's not one single global story.
Not at all. It's a really nuanced picture of the market dynamics within this industry. And it kind of raises a question, doesn't it?
Which is?
Well, how closely do these varying demands for, collagen products track with broader shifts in global demographics and economic development? What's the interplay there?
That's a really interesting angle. What an insightful deep dive that was.
Yeah, a lot to unpack.
We've really covered the impressive growth, haven't we? From the multi-billion-dollar present to an even bigger future for collagen and gelatin.
Absolutely.
And digging into those regional and country numbers really does reveal some surprising trends, paints a much clearer picture of global demand.
It really does. And it's a great example, I think, of how looking closely at one specific industry,
Even one that seems niche.
exactly, can actually tell you a lot about broader shifts, economic, social, even health trends. These patterns are valuable indicators.
For sure. They give insight into the bigger global landscape. Okay, so that leads us perfectly to our final thought for you, the listener, to mull over.
Always good to leave with a question.
Right. Considering everything we've discussed, these market forecasts, What larger global trends do you think are really driving this significant sustained growth in a market like collagen peptides and gelatin?
Something to think about.
Definitely. Give it some thought, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.